group asking what role fear plays in your life. And got some interesting responses, so we're going to talk about that today. And if you are watching, please just either just pop a heart in the comments or a thumbs up, because it does help other people to see this live. The algorithms of Facebook means it hides it from a lot of you. So if you are watching, please just pop a thumbs up or a heart in the comments to help other people see it. And if you're watching it on replay, just pop a hashtag replay in the comments for me. Oh my God, I'm looking really rough today. Those of you that have been around in the group for a while will know that I'm not one of these coaches that do a full face of makeup and hair before I do a live. Okay, so if that's what you're looking for in a coach, unfortunately that's not me. I do work from home, and some days I do spend in my joggers, no makeup, so what you see is what you get. But let's talk fear. So some of the responses from the post I put in yesterday, who have I got on there? Hi Rachel. Some of the responses, well, most of them actually, were around fear stopping you from doing things, either temporarily or permanently, or fear of doing the wrong thing. So questioning yourself, and I guess fearing judgment from others if you do the wrong thing, or fearing the impact that making the wrong decision may have on your life. So the thing with doing the wrong thing is it's always better than doing nothing. So, if you take a wrong turn or make the wrong decision, it's just a blip. It's just a little bend in the path. So, you can always come back to the path and you learn lessons along the way. So there are no mistakes, there are only lessons. So you can never do the wrong thing as such. But fear, we come to see fear as something negative, probably because it stops us from doing things. But actually, fear can be a very positive thing. It certainly was for our cave-dwelling ancestors. Fear is what kept them safe. So our brains are wired to keep us safe. They're wired for survival, okay? They're not wired for happiness. Happiness is very much the job of the soul. So our brains are there to keep us safe, to keep us alive. And, for our cave-dwelling ancestors, we were running from saber-toothed tigers, and our brains were wired to look for danger and instigate that fight or flight response. And that's what kept us alive. That's what kept us safe. And our brains are still wired in the same way. But obviously, our dangers are different, and we're not having to run from, saber-toothed tigers and things like that. So our brains are constantly looking for danger, and it can create this kind of anxiety that we're seeing rise up so much over the last few years, and particularly during lockdown. In my other role as a safeguarding manager, I'm seeing it in the young people I work with, a huge increase in anxious feelings. And this is the brain constantly looking for dangers, okay, and responding to the fear that we're being fed constantly. I'm just going to put my phone on silent. I forgot to do that. Sorry, guys. There we go. So our brains are constantly looking for dangers. That's its job, okay? And it does its job very well of keeping us safe. And it's up to us, really, to tell our brains when we need them and when we need that sort of fear and when we don't. So when we see something that we want to do, our brain will be looking for the dangers in that. And if we buy into that, we will constantly, our brains will be, we'll look at something and go, oh, that looks like a good idea. And our brains will be, well, but what if this happens, or what if that happens? And then we tend to back off and choose a different path, or just not do whatever it is that we wanted to do. So it's about calming that constant chatter of the brain, trying to keep us safe. And sorting through when we need that fight or flight response and when we don't. And more often than not, we don't. And that fight or flight response is designed, for when we're in real danger, running like our ancestors did from saber-toothed tigers. Your body is then using up all of those hormones that are released during fight and flight, and all of those feelings and all that adrenaline. But these days we don't do that. So our body still reacts in the same way. The adrenaline is released, but we're not doing anything with it, and it's sitting there, and it sort of builds into anxiety. So we need to catch it early and tell our brains when we need that fear-based response and when we don't. So, in my life, fear stopped me doing so many things. It stopped me from leaving a very unhappy and emotionally abusive marriage for many, many years. It stopped me leaving a job that was just crushing my soul. It stopped me flying. It stopped me going home to South Africa as often as I'd like to, because I was terrified of flying. So now that I see fear in a different way, I respond to it in a different way, and I don't see it as a negative thing anymore. Because actually fear can remind us that something is important to us. Because if it wasn't, we wouldn't be fearing the consequences, okay? So what I tend to do now, a more constructive way of dealing with fear, instead of letting it go, no, you're not doing that, I talk to fear as if it was a person. And I may, when I can feel those fear-based feelings rise up, whether it's anxiety or whether it's just my brain telling me not to do something, I greet it. I'm like, hello, fear. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for reminding me how important this decision is for me. But actually, I've got this. I don't need you right now. So my intuition is guiding me right now, and that's what I'm going to listen to. And then you find that your body's response to your brain telling you there's something to fear just calms right down. Okay, and it doesn't build into that anxiety. It doesn't stop you from doing the things that you want to do. So, just talking to it as if it's a person, being grateful for it showing up to let you know that something's important to you, but letting it know that you don't need it right now. It's a really, really powerful tool to have. And I first started using it for flying. And it really, really worked. And so now I use it in all areas of my life. Whenever I have to make a big decision, or I can feel that fear-based response in my body building, I use this technique, and it never steers me wrong. So it's about linking in with your intuition, which is what we were talking the other day about. Constantly referring to experts rather than listening to your own intuition. And that's fear. Like, what if what I think is wrong, or what if they know more than me? What if I make the wrong decision? And so we look externally for that validation. But this tool that I've just shown you helps you to go back within and refer to your own intuition rather than looking outwardly, which is a really powerful thing to do. Okay, so it's about reclaiming that power and that knowledge that we all have within us. So do let me know if you give this a try, how it goes. I'd be really interested to know, because this is something that's literally changed my life. So I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and I will see you all soon.